Of all the planets in our universe, there's only one we know that can support life, just the right distance from the sun, with a perfect climate. It's often been called the lucky planet. With the many seasons, the extremes of climate, and landscapes of spectacular beauty, these are the perfect conditions for life on Earth, ranging from the deserts, to the forests, to the many bodies of water. The sea life, just a beautiful underwater ecosystem. It's breathtaking. To the birds taking flight. It's an ecosystem that works in an unbelievable synchronization, a beautiful harmony. It's a place we call home, our only home. But the question is, do we really belong? Are we really a piece of this complex puzzle? Or are we just an unwelcome guest? To answer this question, we have to take a deeper look. David R. Brower, a prominent environmentalist and founder of many environmental organizations, once said that it seems that every time mankind is given a lot of energy, we go out and wreck something with it. Looking back at the past, whether it be 10 years or World War One, humans have always been the cause of destruction. From bombs that fell like rain from the sky to the many other battles that wrote the future to come, we have always been a selfish race, which poses the question, do we really belong on this peaceful planet? Humans are considered mammals, but are we really? When classifying our species in the current times, I believe that we're no longer mammals, because every mammal on this planet instinctively develops a natural balance with the surrounding environment, but we as humans do not. We move from one area to the next, multiplying and consuming every natural resource until there's none left. There's another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern, and if you haven't already figured it out, it's a virus. Humans are like a virus, a disease to this planet. We spread throughout using every resource possible. And throughout time, humans have always caused problems, destroying habitats by cutting down trees and polluting every aspect of the world, whether it's at one point or another, ranging from oil spills to the factories that pump toxins into the atmosphere. Our self-interest is always the priority. This concludes to the fact that human intervention is the root of all problems on this planet. It's the reason that we now have to face global warming. It's true that not every human is alike. There are many people in this world, scientists, engineers, and environmentalists, such as David Suzuki, that have dedicated their life to making the world a better place. On a smaller scale, even our own school has an eco council, one of its leaders being Amy Wu. She was kind enough to answer a question regarding the environment. When asked whether people are uninformed or simply ignorant about the environment, this is what she had to say.
In terms of your question, I feel that the answer is both. For example, in third world countries, where people are literally fighting for survival, they would not care about environmental conservationism because they have more pressing issues at hand, and therefore they would not be informed about it. But in a first world society like ours, where we are offered many of the excesses in food, water, and resources, a lot of times, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of times we are extremely ignorant. We are informed of the issue at hand, and yet we're choosing not to do anything about it because it might be too much work to pick up the garbage and walk that 1 meter to the garbage can rather than just dropping it and littering, or it would be too much work to sort through our garbage to make sure that we're recycling the right materials. So I feel there's a lot to be done in both cases.
Although there are a few who work hard every day to make this world a better place. It's merely an effort to correct the mistakes that we have made over time. It's like picking up the pieces of something we as a race have shattered. Unless we make a joint effort to change our selfish ways and prioritize to correct our bad decisions, the actions of a few are not going to make a big difference. Alan Wiseman's The World Without Us and Al Gore's documentary An Inconvenient Truth are very intriguing pieces of work. The ideas that were shared in the works of Wiseman and Al Gore truly helped me compose or derive the idea that was seen in this documentary. The idea being that human beings are an unwanted species, a virus, and if we're planning on surviving, we need to change our selfish ways and maximize our efforts when it comes to fixing our mistakes. Examining the two pieces of work, Wiseman and Al Gore demonstrate a similar idea while looking at it from two different perspectives. While Al Gore examines ideas of how humans are affecting nature, Wiseman looks at the post-human era and how nature would react to the disappearance of human beings. Alan Wiseman's book examines the idea of sudden human extinction and what effect it would have on the planet. This thought experiment concludes with the realization that nature is a very strong force. Human beings underestimate the capability of nature, and we need to understand the fact that Earth doesn't really need us to be here. This is not a give and take relationship. When talking about global warming, we always refer to the idea of saving the planet. But in reality, we're trying to save ourselves. The Earth will be just fine, and as time goes on, the natural environment quickly conceals most of the evidence of human existence. In this interview, Alan Wiseman talks about why he decided to have a futuristic theme for this book.
And even though that was unlikely, I realized that the very far-fetched concept was a wonderful way to get people to read about the environment, because this would be a way of disarming that fear that we all have when we think about environmental crises, like, oh, are we all going to die? I just kill them off in the beginning. And I just suggest that something has happened that has taken all of us away before we've had a chance to wreak any more havoc on the environment. Us, or we're raptured away, be it by Jesus or space aliens. But we're gone and everything else remains intact. To what extent could it cover up all of our traces? How would it reinvade the spaces that we have been occupying? How would it deal with all the stuff that we left behind? Stuff ranging from materials that we have created to our huge cities to all this carbon that we've pumped up our chimneys. And I found that it's worked. I mean, people, oh, we don't have to worry about being dead. We already are. But, there's something very seductive about the future. And so people just read, curious about what would happen next. And through that, they see revealed, well, what would nature have to contend with that we have already set in motion?
On the other hand, Al Gore's documentary is a cry for help. He uses real-world data to explain what we as human beings are doing to the environment. A wise man once said that selfishness is the greatest curse of the human race. Al Gore seems to agree with this idea when he presents us with this quote in his famous PowerPoint. He talks about how humanity already knows how to solve the carbon and the climate problems. But this just illustrates just how self-centered us human beings are. Since it isn't currently affecting us, it doesn't have a huge impact on our current lives, people don't really want to prioritize it. And this is the reason we're here in the first place. We need to understand how important the earth is to us, because this relation is not vice versa.
That's us. Everything that has ever happened in all of human history has happened on that pixel. It's our only home. And that is what is at stake. Our ability to live on planet Earth, to have a future as a civilization. I believe this is a moral issue. It is your time to seize this issue. It is our time to rise again to secure our future.
We have to realize the fact that living on this planet is a privilege, not a right. Earth doesn't need us, yet we need it to survive as a civilization. Human beings are a selfish race, but we need to understand that this affects us all in the long run. We need to change our ways.
Future generations may well have occasion to ask themselves, What were our parents thinking? Why didn't they wake up when they had a chance? We have to hear that question from them now.